In Bulgaria, radicalization and violent extremism as potential threats to society have only recently been raised in policy debates, mainly as a response to so-called homegrown Islamist radicalization. However, there are other forms of violent radicalization, such as right-wing extremism, that exist in the country but have received considerably less attention. The Center for the Study of Democracy in Sofia started to study these phenomena and develop prevention strategies.
Basically, prevention means that all kinds of institutions and society as a whole become aware of the problem. We did a very broad mapping study to understand what are the risks that our country faces in terms of different types of radicalization and extremism. The most prevalent is hate crime, and mainly hate crime against migrants, against minorities.
Youth Right On is a prevention initiative that aims to address the problem of far-right influence over youth in Bulgaria through the development of an alternative narrative to confront extremist messages and ideas propagated online. It is targeted specifically at young people aged 14 to 19 years old.
Extremist groups, they offer such a belonging based on these pillars like this is us and this is them. So this is one of the factors, basically identity seeking, frustrations in terms of unclear future, all these kinds of fears can play into those narratives.
The first stage of the project was a national representative survey to understand why young people find certain ideas more attractive than others.
The internet is a social environment. When we are talking about radicalization, we are talking about groups of people who are radicalized and can communicate with the children and to persuade them. So the most appropriate way to prevent children is to develop their skills, digital and media literacy, also social skills, social information assessment skills.
The second step was an accurate study of what a Facebook user might be exposed to if he or she started to like certain sites that are related to far-right content.
Three topics kind of stand out as the most controversial. Migrants, as you know, Bulgaria is an entry point. That has caused some debate and some reaction. And it says on top, Bulgarians, and on the bottom, while you feed the illegal migrants, your parents are starving. The other that is kind of ongoing and persistent in Bulgaria because of deeper, more historical context is the problem of Roma integration and criminality. That causes a lot of hateful commentary. This, for example, was posted by a famous Bulgarian, one who used to arrange, more likely, these civil brigades to hunt refugees and migrants who were illegally crossing the countries. The third one revolves around LGBT rights, the so-called gender ideology. That causes a lot of heated discussions and some far-right and extremist commentary.
Religion does play a role in the narratives of the far right in Bulgaria. Maybe it's not a central role, but it is very often used in justifying certain explanations provided by far right actors. It's used as a way to separate, and especially the migrant crisis has fueled into that, and the rise of the Islamic State as well, because this gives fuel to far-right organizations to say, look, Islam is bad and we are the good ones. Coming Going back to our target group for our campaign, these are young people and they know very little about religion. It will be very interesting to see how these narratives that do use religion, how they influence young people that have very little knowledge. These kinds of extremist narratives, they do not aim to have a discussion that's based on facts. It's a discussion that's emotional, that speaks to different frustrations, deficits, gaps, and this excludes having a neutral and factual discussion about religion, what it is, what it means to these people. Teaching young people digital literacy, teaching them critical thinking. These are the factors of resilience that will prevent any type of extremist influence to take root.